shouldn't have that power given to the government where they can take private land and transfer it to a private industry.
Speaking for property rights, Mitt Romney, Newton Gingrich, Gary Johnson, Dr. Ron Paul, Jeanie Forrester, Ray Burton, Daniel K. Webster, Martha Richards, and Omer Ahern.
Well, I don't believe that land should be taken by the power of government to give to a private corporation. And so the right of eminent domain is a right which is used to foster a public purpose and public ownership for a road, highways, and so forth. And so my view is if land is going to be taken for purposes of a private enterprise, that's the wrong way to go.
I'm very cautious about running over people. I don't think America is a country that wants to be in the habit of running over people, which is why I was so much against the Supreme Court's Kelo decision that allows local governments to take private property and take them from one private owner and give them to another private owner. I think those kind of things that have government taking away from you, where you're defenseless, are not the American tradition.
I support private property rights, period. If the utility can't deal with that, if New Hampshireites don't want it, then I don't see eminent domain being a part of this equation. As governor of New Mexico, I can't think of one single circumstance where the state just had to have property that I would have condemned and made that happen over that person's, who would have owned that property, right to own that property and do with that property what he or she wanted to do with it.
No, we shouldn't have that power given to the government where they can take private land and transfer it to a private industry. The eminent domain laws are going to vary in different states, but we have the national eminent domain laws. It was never meant to take it from some people, private owners, and then take it and give it to a corporation because it's going to help that local locality. And this goes back to the basic understanding of property rights. Property in a free society should be owned by the people, and it shouldn't be regulated to death by the governments, whether it's Washington, D.C., or local governments. Right now, we really don't own our land. We just pay rent on our land, and we listen to all these regulations. So I would say the courts should get out of the way, too. They should not have this right to take land from individuals to provide privileges for another group.
House Bill 648 has to do with eminent domain. This is on a very basic level is a private property issue. We can't allow a private company to take private property for their profit.
I'm sorry, it's 135.
That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
Raymond Burton, as a candidate for public office, do you pledge to honor the New Hampshire Constitution, which protects the property rights of New Hampshire's landowners from all attempts by private persons and business entities to use eminent domain to seize real property without the owner's consent for private development or other private for-profit uses, all in violation of citizens' constitutionally protected private property rights?
I do.
All right, hey. Ray, we're proud to have you here today. I know you probably got another dozen stops before the sun sets. You've always come to the aid of North Country businesses and citizens, and here you are doing it again on a Sunday. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
There are many over the years, throughout our history, that have interpreted the Constitution in an inappropriate way, that have stretched the Constitution far beyond its boundaries.
The New Hampshire Bill of Rights, Article 12A of the Constitution, was amended in 2006 to read, "No part of a person's property shall be taken by eminent domain and transferred directly or indirectly to another person if the taking is for the purpose of private development or other private use of the property."
This is our land. I feel like I'm living in Russia or China if somebody says they can just take my land for a private project.
People are coming up saying, oh, you mean these towers are above the trees? Yeah. You mean these towers are going through the towns? Yeah. They're getting incredible glossy materials that are saying, oh no, you won't be able to see the towers, you won't do this, you won't do that. Our tourists, whether they're coming from southern New Hampshire or whether they're coming from out of state, need to hear what's going on.
Well, I have here the candidates' New Hampshire Property Rights Pledge. I hereby pledge to honor the New Hampshire Constitution, which protects the property rights of New Hampshire landowners.
Eminent domain is a crazy idea.
The taking of people's property by eminent domain for personal gain is inherently wrong.
It's an issue that has impacted my home and my retirement plans. It's really made a mess out of my life.
Eminent domain is bull.
It's not for us, and our towns will not benefit from it. The people that are in charge are the people that will benefit for it. We have rights, and our rights are being given up.
They can't have my property. No way.